So can you get a title for a vehicle left unattended on your property? Can you own a vehicle left unattended? Well, let's take a look at a couple examples. Every state has different rules and regulations regarding unattended properties, unattended vehicles on property. So you want to make sure that you have the correct process for your state. And here's an example. This happens to be from the state of Nebraska. It says vehicles left unattended on private property. A vehicle parked in a restricted parking lot without properization is subject to towing. Parking lot must have signs. Once it's towed, then the towing company can get a title. Well, what about if you want to keep it? You don't want to tow it away. We'll look at that momentarily. To obtain a storage repair lien, the following procedures. We'll look at that momentarily. The proceeds from a sale are intended to satisfy the lien, including reasonable charges of notice, advertising, and sale. All money obtained from the sale must be surrendered to the treasurer. The treasurer will hold the money for 5 years. If the owner comes forward, they get to have the money. Abandoned vehicles ordered towed by law enforcement do not qualify for titles under vehicles towed from private property. Certificate of titles for motor vehicles can be obtained only by the law enforcement agency that ordered the tow. That's on vehicle tows. So, there's two other clauses: storage vehicle lien and abandoned vehicles. Let's look at storage vehicle lien first. A storage repair lien is available to residents who have either by written or verbal agreement with the titled owner performed work or agreed to store a vehicle and have unable to collect the fees owed. So if you have an agreement, and it could be a verbal agreement according to Nebraska, with the title owner, meaning that it can't just be somebody else, it has to be the title owner, you may be able to put a lien on the vehicle. To obtain a storage repair lien, here's what you have to do. Must be in your possession for a minimum of 90 days. You must submit an application for a copy of the title record. That's the first thing you have to do to verify that a current title exists, get the name of the owner, and establish if there's liens. Once you've received that, you must send a written notice to the title owner with an intent to sell 30 days after the date of notice. The vehicle must be described in detail. VIN number, make, model. Must be sent certified mail. If the vehicle information says there's an open lien, the lien holder must also be noticed. If the lien holder does not respond, the lien is released at the time of title issuance. So if the lien holder doesn't respond, lien goes away. Once you have received the return receipt, you must wait 30 days from the date of notification. Then you must sell the vehicle to satisfy your claim. The vehicle may not be retained for your personal use. That's how it works in Nebraska. No finders keepers. Once you've sold the vehicle, you have to send all that information, the bill of sale, the receipts, the unopened letters, and then that buyer will get the vehicle title. What about abandoned vehicles? So for abandoned, they have a page for that too. And if you notice on that page, it says law enforcement only. And for the most part, that's true. But there may be some things that a civilian may be able to do. It says once for motor vehicles has been established by a law enforcement agency that a vehicle has been abandoned, and after specific guidelines are met, a certificate of title is issued to law enforcement. It can be abandoned if it's on public property, 6 hours. Parking lot public property, 24 hours. If it's illegally parked on public property, 7 days on private property without permission of the owner, or 30 days in the custody of law enforcement. If the abandoned title has been issued, the law enforcement agency is charged with disposition. So what that means is the police have to sell it, not the private person. So it sounds kind of conflicting information, but the bottom line is if you are a private property owner and the vehicle titled owner actually has hired you to store it or to do work on it, there may be a narrow pathway to get a title, but the process has to go through notifying that prior owner and lien holder and waiting for a response before a title can be issued.